Yo mom is so ugly. She was an extra in Thriller.
Okay, lady, you can take your makeup off now. Oh, that's disgusting.
Hey all, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be doing something special, particularly MJ related. Now, for those who are new to the channel, I've been a massive MJ fan for 9 years from this time of the recording. Now, just a simple disclaimer before we begin, this is all my own opinions, and that the things that I add on from the estate's answers are not the truth. I repeat, my own opinions, so don't get your treated with a grain of salt. So I've been through a lot of MJ commercial projects such as Thriller 25, Bad 25, Escape, and unfortunately the much hyped, disappointing Scream album. Yes, and I do read a lot of people's complaints about the estate actions and choices for said projects and other things on all types of platforms of social media, but the estate has finally made an answer. Here is an official frequently asked questions and answers statements for the fans. So if we just go on the estate's website, wait, look at the corner. 1996, Bremen, Germany. I thought that was 1997. Ah, silly estate once again. This isn't the first time you stuff on facts that are based on the person you were trying to preserve the legacy on. I mean, one time I saw a post, it was a bad tour, but they said Jonathan Moffat was on the tour when it was actually Ricky Lawson doing the drums. Alright, let's just dive into it. So we've got the title here. And we can also submit a question. I've got thousands of questions, but we'll just see the frequently asked. Alright, let's just read it. This page has been created to provide answers to commonly answered questions received by the estate through the Michael Jackson online team. The page will be updated occasionally with additional questions and answers, and you can also submit your own questions for consideration through the submission form on this page. Now, I can't wait to actually read these because they're actually the answers from the Michael Jackson online team. And let's just dive into it. Alright, why isn't Neverland open to the public? Neverland unfortunately cannot be open for public visitation. We wish it could. Its location and the applicable zoning regulations prohibit opening up to the public. During his lifetime, Michael explored this possibility and was faced with the fact that it could not be done. Now, I think in my opinion, this is a fair point. Have you seen where this ranch is? It's literally in the middle of nowhere, no joke. In terms of logistics, it would take a trek for like heaps of tour buses to go up those long windy roads and whatnot. And not to mention the amount of time, just not to mention the amount of time it will take for traveling. The next question. Why isn't the estate selling Neverland and not keeping it for Michael's children? Well, Neverland is managed and controlled by Colony Capital, not by the estate. This is based off on a contract Michael signed in 2008. We did explore with Colony Capital a number of potential options for Neverland, including donating it to the state of California to be preserved for historical purposes and special events, but none proved feasible, and ultimately Colony decided to sell the property. Neverland has always been and will continue to be a very expensive property to maintain, thus without any viable option to generate income from the property, Colony's decision to find a buyer is understandable and is the same reason that the estate cannot purchase the property. We trust that any new owners will respect the historical importance and special nature of this wonderful property. We also think that this is important to keep in mind that it's magical and a beautiful place as Neverland was during the years that Michael lived there. It was not his home for the last few years of his life, and he publicly stated that it would not be his home ever again. Michael's music vision and messages remain ever present with us. The artist, the creative genius, and the creative human being with an unparalleled passion for the planet and the people who inhabit it. This will continue to be immortal and inspire generations to come. Now, for my thoughts, this is kind of a little bit sad. One, because Michael publicly said that Neverland is not going to be home again, despite him living there for many years during the 90s. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I have nothing to add on because I'm not sure of the situation at hand. I'm just reading the estate statement, and I just did a little bit of research, but I know that there's people trying to do the hashtag Save Neverland and whatnot. But in my opinion, if this is the ultimate case, they can do something with like the Havenhurst property and put some MJ related things there, and the property can also benefit his children, such as like we can do kind of what they did for Neverland, kind of like generating income. I don't know what I'm talking about. Next question. Is there going to be a permanent Michael Jackson museum? We do hope that there will be a Michael Jackson museum. We have and will continue to explore this possibility. We also researched the possibility that the Havenhurst property could also be open for limited public tours, and we are optimistic about this possibility. While this is not imminent, it is something we would like to accomplish. Actually listen here, MJ Estate. I am proud to say that I've been to a Michael Jackson museum not run by you guys. I know that this is too much for you to handle, but I actually have visited that museum twice. This museum is in Macau at the Hotel Point 16, and it houses the Motown 25 glove and many other MJ articles and worn items. So if Macau can do it, you can do it. Why don't you release everything in the vault? Eventually more music will be released, but there is nothing in the vaults that is finished and ready for release. We don't and we won't release everything in the vaults based on choices Michael made during his life. We agreed with L.A. Reid's philosophy on Escape. We prefer to start with those recordings on which Michael sang full vocals because we know those are the ones he put the most work into. We are criticised by some fans when we don't release unreleased materials, and we are criticised by other fans when we release unreleased material using top producers, many of them which worked with Michael to finish the recordings. If we release demos by themselves, they will not be commercially successful because they are not by definition unfinished. Now for this one, I have mixed feelings about this. In terms of ethics, Michael was a perfectionist and that only he could finish the songs. From listening to the Michael Prince episode on the MJ cast, the production value of these songs are quite intricate and amazing, which when he explains the process of making the songs such as in the hotel room and on the Neverland Ranch. But looking from a fan's looking at a fan's perspective of this, we would love to hear new songs that are either unreleased songs that have been mixed properly and deemed as finished, such as an example would be Days in Gloucestershire. That song, although the mixing, I could definitely hear that there's some faults, but it's kind of a full song in itself. I'm just going on a tangent now. But it'll be really nice to have some songs that have already been released but are really rare and in special reissues and pressings. A nice one would be, from my perspective, the song Eaten Alive featuring MJ and Diana Ross. I only heard that song only of last year, and now, just by doing internet research, I found the extended mix and the instrumental. So, that could be a good result for everyone. Apparently in the, I heard in one of the state's answers that someone who was listening to the Scream album have not listened to Torture, the song Torture, in their life. And they thought, wow, this is a really cool track, but it's already been released. So they could possibly do that with other songs. Next question. What inspired Scream and Michael Jackson's Halloween? Oh, that's a good question. Money. Why doesn't the state do more to stop the TV programs and films being made about Michael? Look, to be honest, I'll give you the answer, but I don't have any thoughts on this matter, but you're welcome to share it in the comments down below. Will there ever be a soundtrack released to Michael Jackson 1? We are not planning to release a soundtrack for Michael Jackson 1. What? But you're shooting yourself in the leg here, Estate. MJ1 is probably Immortal's successor in terms of production and music remixing. I mean, I've listened to some tracks and they're impeccable. They sound superior than the Immortal tracks. It'd be so cool to hear MJ1 as well as... It'd be so cool to hear MJ1 because I know that many of the fans have listened to Immortal and they sound amazing the way how they remastered all the multi-tracks and whatnot. Alright, if we read on, however, we are planning a big birthday celebration for August 29 next year, in brackets 2018, to celebrate Michael's birthday. We are hoping to have members of Michael's family, persons who worked on Michael, and Michael's biggest fans attend this big celebration in Las Vegas at the Michael Jackson 1 Theatre in Mandalay Bay, I think. We want to invite everyone to attend and to make reservations in advance. This will be special. Once again, I have no comments on that because knowing me, Do you know how much it take? Yeah, I have no comments on that. If you have agreeing comments, feel free to comment them. If you have disagreeing comments, please, I would love to hear your thoughts. The estate, if you're watching this, you can be destined to do better things for sustaining the legacy of the king of pop, Michael Jackson. I think the main thing is you just got to start listening to your target market and then go on from there. I'm Hayden Huynh. Thanks for liking my video. Hope you like, subscribe, and hopefully share. And since that this is a frequently asked question of the MJ fans to the estate, I want to ask my own question. Where's Dangerous 25?
Got him! Got him!